Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is about mental health during a layoff. As you guys know, have been laid off for now a year. So it's been a long time and it has been quite the roller coaster when it comes to mental health. For those that don't know, I did create a video talking about my layoff and how it happened. For me, it happened on December 11th of 2024, right around the holidays. So it hit extra hard. At the time, that same year, I had just came back from a leave of absence due to severe burnout, anxiety, and a bunch of other things. Grandpa actually passed away that same year in October. So it was just one thing after another. So when this layoff happened, it really did hit me even stronger. How has it been since that, now a year forward? I would describe a layoff and my mental health as an emotional roller coaster. There's been a lot of highs and lows, and there's a lot of things that affect that. There's that pressure of finding a job right away and the shame that comes with not having a job yet a year later. I also realized that a lot of my identity was tied to my job. That kind of put an extra added pressure for me to find a job right away. And if I wasn't landing interviews or finding a job, then I didn't feel like I was good enough because, again, my identity was tied to job titles, accolades, all these things that I started to notice was a pattern. But that took time to realize. It was part of my journey. It was not an easy thing to face. I want to talk about how hard it hits you in terms of your everyday life, at least for me. There are days when my mental health has been at a very low where I don't even feel like waking up and starting my day, and even the simple things got difficult, like the showering and getting myself together, putting on makeup. Those things become so much difficult during a layoff. And I saw other friends kind of manage it because there are other friends that I have that were also laid off during the same time. There were other friends that were very positive, going out on walks. And so that's when I knew that I had to show myself a lot more compassion, especially given my history and some of the things that I've struggled with. But I can tell you that's been a very difficult thing. Like, the balance of motivating yourself to get out of bed, to do something as simple as making your bed every day when there's all these emotions that you're experiencing through the layoff. You know, sometimes it's affected my eating, where I'm not taking care of my eating, or where I'm overeating, and anxiety, like just this anxiety that just got worse during this whole year. I got to a point before the layoff happened where I was feeling good, like my anxiety wasn't bad, and then all of a sudden it kind of spiked, and it's something that I'm struggling and I'm dealing with now, and it has not been easy. There's so many things, right, that you're experiencing when you're going through a layoff. Just the emotions that are happening all at the same time: anger, frustration, disappointment, all of those things. When you hear from a job, where you don't hear from a job, started feeling very, very anxious to the point where I'm like, this is not normal. And when it started getting difficult to get outside to go for like a simple walk or to motivate myself to do certain things, it just wasn't normal anymore. So I am going back to therapy. I'm so excited. I'm going back next week and getting that extra support. I think especially in moments of transition, it's so important to realize when you do need that extra help. And I'm not saying I haven't gotten any type of help, but I think there's different types of help that you get for different seasons. When my layoff first happened, I thankfully decided I'm going to join a coaching program. My financial situation early in the year was different than it is now. I had just received my severance and all these things. So I decided to invest in a coaching program to kind of keep myself motivated. And I am so glad I did, because I don't know what would have happened if I wouldn't have had that space. It was, I think, 6 months me being in community with other Latina women, and we were working towards our goals and just creating community, sharing vulnerably. And I was able to work on different things that I had set out for myself. So I am so happy that I did that. A lot of what has been super difficult during this period has been applying for jobs, and then the rejections and those piling up, or the ghosting, the interviews not going the way you wanted them to go, and then the emotional hit that had. I realized how much weight I was putting on all these jobs, which is normal. You know, you're excited. It's so hard when you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, applying to jobs, fixing your resume, tailoring it to each job, networking, asking for referral, and you still hear nothing back. Those moments during this whole year have been the toughest moments, or all the rejections, all the rejections that happen when it comes to jobs. That's also been really tough too. It's affected me. I start doubting my capabilities. You know, you start doubting yourself. I think the main thing that hits me and my mental health during this period is how financially insecure I feel. I just think it pours into all areas of my life. It adds stress, it adds anxiety. So I'm trying to figure that part out for myself. I'm sure if you guys are out there and have been looking for a year and it's affected really your finances a lot, you're also probably feeling some of these feelings that I'm feeling, because there's nothing worse than being in a lot of debt, credit card debt, not making money, and not having a job a year later. I live in Los Angeles, so for me, the financial burden has been huge. Having to dip into my savings, my Roth IRA that I didn't want to touch. I am so grateful that I live with my boyfriend and he's right now taking a lot of the financial responsibility. So I am so blessed. I get to still, instead of just taking any job, find that role that I want. I'm in the job market for a senior manager role. It's been very tough to land those types of interviews. It's not entry level, it's mid-level. Now that it's been a year for me, I'm having to step into consulting now. I'm slowly building. I'm not just consulting, I'm also still looking for a job, and so I have landed my first client, and I'm not making as much money from this one client as I would like, but it is a start to hopefully building up and going from there. I also started doing strategy calls and I have one client for that, so slowly I'm getting opportunity, but I just want to figure out more of the finances because it is a weight. It weighs on my mental health. I have the burden of like, my partner is taking all the financial load right now, and I know that he's here for me, but at the same time I want to help. One of the hardest things is if friends or family members, whoever it is, asks me, "You found a job yet?" Feeling like shamed that I haven't found a job a year later. Comparison of, like I mentioned, of comparing myself to maybe other people from my company that got laid off around the same time and have already landed a job. So those are all things I'm navigating in real life that are affecting me. I think there's so much that comes up when going through a layoff, especially a year later. You know, when the rejections happen, a lot of the self-doubt, the confidence struggles, especially for me as a Latina going and after these jobs, a lot of them very competitive in tech, and not getting them, it does hit your confidence. And so for me right now, it's that balance of not having it affect me so much to the point where I can't show up to the next interview and give it my best. I am navigating that in real time. I want to share this one story. It was a job that happened very recently. I was in this job process for, I think it was like maybe 3 weeks, almost a month actually. And I mean, I went through the recruiter screening and then 6 interviews. There was an interview loop of 4 interviews nonstop for 2 hours. I did not even get a break in between. And before any of those interviews happened, I did an assessment, a whole assessment, PowerPoint. Took me 2 days to do. That's the assessment that actually got me to the loop. I gave this all my time and energy. My last interview round, the 7th round, was when I was actually on vacation in Mexico. We went to a wedding and I gave it my all, even though I was very sick. And I went into this interview. I was able to still show up and kind of like push everything aside and give it my best. I ended up in the top 2, but I ended up not getting it. It was one of the toughest blows for me recently. I cried and I was grieving. I had put it my all into this job. That's also an emotional hit, you know, it's this roller coaster of you really trying and putting your heart and soul into something and then not getting it at the end. It has been really tough because it was a job that I really wanted. You do start to doubt yourself, your capabilities, and it does hit your confidence. So I am just trying to bounce back from that and not have it affect me, have it be rather a part of the journey, a lesson, but it's very hard to do when something like that happens. And I have so many more stories of other things that have kind of been like just like a blow, you know. But I'll leave those for another video. Now I'm having to ask myself, do I have the luxury of being selective in the job, of being as picky and making sure that I don't end up in a team that is toxic? The last thing I want to do is end up in a job where I'm burnt out again. And then at the same time, I try to tell myself a year later now that my value is not tied to a company, a title, whether I have a job or not. Like, I can still build my consulting business and I have value as a human outside of whether we're productive or not. We have value, and just for being us. Some of the things that I've been doing to kind of help with my mental health during all of this has been going outside more, because it's hard, trust me, like to get myself out there on a simple walk. I did this thing called Walktober where I was walking every single day, and I did see the change in my mental health. You know, then November came and I didn't do it as much, so I did realize how it affected me. And sometimes it's hard, and especially if you're alone all day. My partner goes out and he works all day, you know, and then I'm here. We do share a car too, so that also I can't just pick up and go every single day. But the days that I am able to either drop him off or have the car, I try to go on hikes those days, and that has been helping. If I can't or I don't have the car, then just going outside to the park and walking, getting some sunlight does so much for us. Grounding at the park, touching the grass, all the simple things that we think are so simple, that does help and go a long way. I'm trying to keep my class pass for $89 a month, but I don't know that I can keep it up. And the only reason I'm keeping it is because bar definitely is a must for me, because it strengthens my back. I'm somebody who had a herniated back. It's been helping. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way for me to do it for free on YouTube. So finding those videos right now, going outside and, like I said, for the walk, for a run, whatever that thing is to keep your body moving is so important right now. And that brings me to my next point of making sure you're fueling yourself, eating healthy. This whole year I've been so bad with my eating. Sometimes I was eating a lot of junk or not eating in my times, and it does affect you. I'm trying to get back to those basics of making sure I'm drinking water. I bought this actually at TJ Maxx with a gift card that my friend gave me. One of the biggest things that I am working on, I know it's a game changer, is like structure. When I was laid off, you don't have to check in or go to a meeting anymore or jump on a Zoom. I wouldn't wake up early, especially in the beginning. The only thing that did save me is the coaching program that I was a part of, that I did join, because I had to make those meetings that allowed me to have some sort of structure. But right now I'm feeling like I'm lacking structure in my days. Like I'm not accomplishing everything I need to accomplish. So aside from applying to jobs, like I want to start creating content more consistently, looking for clients, doing my client work, taking care of my health at the same time. All these things that, like, sometimes my day goes by and I feel like I didn't have any structure, and so like I was spending too much time on one thing, or I didn't have really like a flow. I'm someone that does have ADD, so structure is a must and I struggle with it. So it's something that I'm actively working towards so that I can then create those habits that are gonna help me get to where I want to be. And trust me, this layoff makes it even harder to do that. You're dealing with all the emotions and it just makes it harder to have any type of structure. Wake up early, sleep early, not at like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., not scroll, all the things. Another thing that has really helped me is staying in community. Like I mentioned, I joined the coaching program. I also am intentional with staying in other communities, wherever you can join a free workshop or join a group in person. If there's any free like yoga classes in your community where you can meet other like-minded individuals. I try to stay, for me, in spaces where there's other Latinas. So there's like this space in Los Angeles called Latinas in Wellness. A lot of different spaces you can join to find that community so that you're not alone or staying in your head or feel like you're carrying all of this by yourself. Staying in these communities also lets me see what's possible and that there's other women out there that have made it happen. Another thing that has helped me through this layoff is doing something creative. Like find something creative, whether that's coloring. For me, it's content creation. For me, it's something that fills my cup. I also love coloring. I have coloring books. If you like reading, making sure that you're doing those hobbies that fill your cup, I think it's so important. Allowing yourself yourself to just watch those shows that bring comfort to you. Everything doesn't have to be productive. You don't have to be applying 24/7 or working 24/7. It's something that I am trying to find the balance for. There was a time in my layoff that I was just binging shows way too much. I got hooked on Grey's Anatomy and I was just binging those shows as a way of escaping. So I went the one extreme, and now I'm trying to find a balance of still setting those dedicated times to, yes, like relax and watch my show and then work when I need to work and have more of that schedule and balance. One thing that I've started doing recently is also volunteering with marketing. It's what I do, social media content marketing, marketing strategy, but it's another way to stay in community, also network and practice your skills and create real impact for the organization that you're volunteering for. Like I said, the final thing I'm doing other than the coaching is I'm going back to therapy next week. So going back is definitely something that I needed and I am excited to do it. There was a mental health group that I joined throughout this whole year, but it was only a monthly thing. It's so important to, I cannot stress that enough, to stay in community, lean on your friends. Leaning on my friends is something that I've been practicing a lot. I've been honest with them when they ask me, how are you doing? And I'm like, you know, not well. I got this rejection. Instead of saying everything's okay, you know what I mean? Everything is not okay. We are struggling here. Shared with them when I had to move apartments and downsize. Really tough decisions that have had to be made throughout this process, they know. And I think having that support and being honest really helps when going through this layoff. And sometimes I don't know what to say. I'm so grateful for them just being there, not judging, rather supporting me and hearing me out. It's been something I really appreciate. If you're experiencing a layoff, if you are unemployed currently, I see you, I feel you. I'm already going to be a year. And that doesn't mean we haven't made progress. I feel like we do when we should recognize the things that we are doing for ourselves, for our families, the things that we do have. I am so grateful that I have a roof over my head, that I have a partner that supports me, that right now is taking a lot of the financial responsibility. I am so grateful for that. I am grateful for my health, for the community that I have around me, for my friends, for my family. Those are the things that I think we should take the time to be grateful for. It's important to still stay in that gratitude space because all these heavy things can really take a toll on us. Like, tell me about it. When I stop being grateful or looking at some of those positive things that I do have, like, it just makes things a lot harder and it makes me feel like everything is wrong around me, which is not true. I think there are things to be grateful for. I know that it can be so tough this time and period. If you're out there and you're like me, it's been a year, make sure you recognize those wins. For me, some wins have been the fact that I even ventured off into creating my own content. I did a whole series on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you go follow me. I did showing up for me like earlier in the year for 30 days, posting consistently. A win is creating my creator brand deals masterclass. That's something that I ran twice and I had 2 cohorts. Huge win recently is securing my first client. Actually 2 clients, like I mentioned. One of them is just for strategy and the other one is more of a retainer client, a monthly retainer. There is an article that I recently saw, actually today, on LinkedIn that one of my ex-professors from college wrote for the Harvard Business Review. And it's all about stopping and celebrating our wins. And it says, celebrating your wins can protect against burnout, boost resilience, and reinforce the mindset that progress matters. And I have not read it all. I am going to read it, but I will link it down below so you guys can take the time to read it. It just shares the importance of celebrating our wins, which is what I just mentioned, recognizing ourselves and our resilience. This time of being out of a job, unemployed, not making money, it's a difficult time, and giving ourselves grace and compassion while still going after what we need to go after, right? And noticing those things that we can fix. Like if you're not waking up early, making sure that we're having more of a structure, going to bed earlier, the things and the changes that you need to make, recognizing those, and at the same time celebrating ourselves. Even if we don't get the job, if we were in the final 2, like that's something I'm celebrating. I was in the final 2 out of like 200 applicants, or I don't know, I think it was 400. I forgot the exact number. I still made it to the top 2. And that just tells me I'm this much closer. feel it to securing a full-time job and having the stability that my soul craves. So if you're out there, do not give up. Also, I know that it sucks. I am there with you. Feel those feelings. It is a tough time. I recognize that financially I'm not okay. Mentally, I am struggling. I feel like, yeah, it's the holidays right now. I'm not able to go home. My family's not here. There are things that I'm not able to do, and I recognize them, and I think making space for the grieving, the anger, all those things that are also happening is important as well. That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate you. If you're also struggling through a layoff, leave your comments down below so we can support each other, really create a community of support as well. I'm here with you guys. I'm going through the struggle as well. So if you guys have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe down below. I will be sharing more things, lessons about this layoff unemployment period. Subscribe down below and also follow me on all other socials, but I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.